You know, I really don't set out to be a contrarian, but I just happen to have a lot of opinions that run counter to what most people who play TF2 seem to think. For example, I enjoy fighting against Sniper and don't want him nerfed, although I wouldn't complain too much if he was nerfed overall. And for the subject of today's video, I don't actually hate random critical hits. In fact, I think they add genuine value to TF2. I'm gonna have to be careful what I say here, because so many people have already made videos about this subject that not only is it treading on the thin ice of plagiarism to even bring it up, but I don't actually want to start bitter arguments with the entire TF2 universe. I want to approach this discussion in good faith, and I hope you, the viewer, can see that I am not trying to be a rage baiter or a troll. I even delayed making this video so it wouldn't come out on April Fool's Day, but in fact, I may just be a genetic freak who doesn't think the same way as anybody else. In case this is your first TF2 video, hi! Critical hits are a mechanic in TF2 where your weapon has a small chance to deal 3 times as much damage as normal. You can tell a critical hit has happened when the bullets or flames or rockets you shoot become shiny. Some weapons can never deal a critical hit, such as knives, swords, and sniper rifles, and your chance to deal critical hits increases based on recent damage done. The final important mechanic to quickly go over is that random critical hit chance is greatly increased for melee weapons. Almost half of all melee hits will be critical hits on average. So with that explanation out of the way, why do people not like random crits? Well, because it's frustrating. That's the main reason. The mechanic also favors damage classes. A heavy or a soldier or a demo man are far more likely to get a random crit than a scout on average. Here's a little anecdote. I was playing scout on landfall and I was just mowing people down on a 7 kill streak. My scattergun aim was on point, and then I turned a corner and blam! Oh, for... Even he was scared by it. A soldier fires a random critical rocket and does 300 damage in a split second, killing me before I have a chance to think. Now, I am not going to take the absurd position that random crits aren't frustrating. They are, intrinsically. To just lose a fight for no reason, when you were otherwise doing well, is annoying. On the other end, receiving a random critical hit is immensely enjoyable. You see the bright glow of the rocket, hear the crackle of electricity, and then some poor soul gets obliterated in a single hit out of nowhere. Now, I'm going to try and avoid arguing developer intention, since nobody really cares about that anyway. And I'm also not going to play that one clip of the TF2 dev commenting on random crits. You know which one I mean. What I care about is the actual impact on the average game today, not what the developers may have wanted in 2007. I think that critical hits provide a much needed ingredient in what makes TF2 special: unpredictability. This game is wacky and quite funny and very chaotic at times, and believe it or not, critical hits are part of that soup. Many people have argued that critical hits should be removed because they take away all the skill of the game. I think this argument sort of misses the point. Yes, the possibility that the person who should have died won the fight because they got lucky does make the game less skillful. It adds an element of random chance into the mix where you can never be quite sure what's going to happen. But that unpredictability is what makes TF2 what it is. In fact, I would argue that demanding the removal of random crits is an argument made by people who don't really get why TF2 works. They want the game to be this competitive esport where everyone is pouring sweat trying to win the game. They want casual and competitive mode to be as similar as possible, because to them, competitive mode is the real game, and casual is just the easiest way to play. Turn off random crits! Turn off random bullet spread, ban all the weapons I don't like, add class limits, ban anything that lets Heavy move faster because I think Heavy is boring to fight against. Competitive mode in TF2 is not what I want for the majority of the game. People take it so seriously, but competitive is just a set of community servers with different rules. That's it. It's not more important than casual. It's a tiny subset of players who only care about the very specific meta they have created on their own apart from the rest of TF2. It's almost a blessing that Valve's official competitive mode failed, because if you look at what happens to other games that really focus on promoting their competitive modes, you'd feel like we dodged a bullet. No, we should not be removing elements of random chance from TF2 Period. All it would serve to do is make the game more boring and more predictable, a math equation rather than a fun experience. Look at what happened when Meet Your Match came around and overhauled the matchmaking system. Everyone hated it because it took away quick play and gave us a version of TF2 that doesn't let you swap teams mid-match, doesn't let you vote to scramble the teams, doesn't let you join your friends' servers easily. All of these changes serve to make TF2 less chaotic and less relaxed, which sounds like a paradox, but think about it. Before Meet Your Match, if you were rolling on payload, you could join the other team and try to rescue them from being stomped. You could join your friends' servers and mess with them without needing to be grouped up first. You could switch teams and play with or against your friends without needing to be auto-balanced first. And auto-balance happened way more often and could be voted for, ensuring that the same team didn't stomp over and over and over again. You could spectate. Do you remember joining random servers just to spectate and watch what both teams were doing? But being able to enjoy yourself in this way was removed in favor of locking people into their assigned teams and keeping them there until they left the server or got auto-balanced. Usually because somebody rage quit. Valve wanted to make the game a more competitive experience where you stayed on the same team the whole match and didn't leave halfway through. All it took was removing some of the most fun features in favor of balance. And considering how often pub stomps happen, balance was not achieved anyway, so we didn't even get what we sacrificed all that fun for. Removing random critical hits would be another step down this path, making TF2 less like itself and more like something it should never be. A highly competitive, toxic shooter where people insult each other for not trying their absolute hardest to win at a video game. Yes, it is frustrating to die to a random crit. And yes, it does take a little bit of skill away from the game. But that's fine. Skill isn't the most important thing about video games. Fun is. That's a fact. And by giving every player a random chance to instantly kill another regardless of skill, TF2 is made more fun. Because you don't have to be good at TF2 to enjoy it. You don't have to stick to pre-approved metas and strategies to win. You don't have to play smart or even play fair. You can do what you like. And if you really value skill and strategy and getting better at the game, you can absolutely do that. You just have to accept that occasionally you'll lose not by your own fault, but by a roll of the dice. Because this game is not an esport. I'm not arguing that it isn't annoying when it happens. But I am arguing that the occasional spike of frustration caused by those rare high moments is a price I am willing to pay in order for TF2 to remain what it is. A ridiculous, chaotic mess where the intelligent strategy frequently loses to some dumbass charging in with a frying pan. Stop trying to turn this game into an esport. It's never going to be that. We like TF2 because it has these elements of random chance baked into it, because random critical hits, along with everything else, create these wacky, impossible moments of both confusion, frustration, and delight that could not happen in any other game. No, TF2 isn't solely defined by random crits, but continuing to chip away at the game's core identity just so you personally can die less often is not only selfish, it's short-sighted. Because if random critical hits were removed, I'm pretty sure half the people that argued in favor of that change would quit, not even realizing why they suddenly find it boring. Uncertainty contributes to fun in a way most people don't really think about. And that uncertainty comes from the knowledge that a free-to-play engineer charging in with his wrench has an equal or greater chance to kill you than a grizzled veteran player on an 11 kill streak. If this weren't possible, TF2 wouldn't be what it is. And it wouldn't be nearly as fun. And you know, a really hardcore gamer losing a fight because somebody with less than a tenth of his experience got lucky is objectively really funny. It's not the end of the world if you don't get a godlike kill streak. Keep random crits in the game, and also bring back quick play. That's all. Please feel free to call me an idiot in the comments, like, subscribe, and get out. Video's over.